Life under COVID is proving interesting. It's also stressful, and much of that stress comes from a feeling of loss. I get this Groundhog Day exposure. It seems to me that it's the same day and it's happening over and over. And as COVID continues to impact on each and every Australian, it has perpetuated degrees of lunacy from some in government. Now, on TheInformer, you would have noticed that as an independent news and current affairs organisation, we've been prepared to hold the government and others to account. We've done it from week one. And it's also important to note that we're not influenced by any vested interest. Our only interest, in fact, is for accountability and for finding the truth, something that we will continue to do, even though some of you may not necessarily agree with us. But that's democracy. It's the freedom to express a view. And that's exactly what we at TheInformer advocate each and every week. Which makes this particular editorial one of real concern for me. It's about balancing the life of one individual against the lives of millions of Victorians. Sunday, August 9, was the 33rd anniversary of the Hoddle Street Massacre. And for those of you who weren't born on the 9th of August in 1987, I can tell you it was a day of terror in the mid to late 80s. It happened along with the Russell Street bombing and the Queen Street Massacre. Now, you've got to understand these were dark days. Domestic terrorism hit Melbourne and Victoria on a scale that we had never seen before. Julian Knight shot dead 7 people, and he injured another 19 during a shooting spree along Hoddle Street in Clifton Hill. He sought to execute and maim in cold blood as many innocent men and women as he could, people who were simply going about their Sunday. Their lives suddenly cut short. Without care, this sociopath had killed 7 innocent people. And since that fateful day, when the families of those who were killed and injured had their lives horribly changed forever, Victorians have been taking care of Julian Knight. They've paid for him to be housed in prison through their taxes. They've paid for Knight's incarceration. We've even paid for his education, his many failed legal challenges and appeals, and of course his numerous hunger strikes. And through it all, Julian Knight remains a blight on Victoria, regardless of his life in prison. His 7-term life sentence doesn't afford him a quality of life or rights better than any abiding citizen of Victoria. But he seems to think it does. So much so that he recently decided to go on another hunger strike, all because he was caught with contraband by prison authorities at Port Phillip Prison. They actually dared to confiscate it from him. Now, I'm not sure what world we're living in these days, and I must say it's becoming even murkier given some of the madness that we're seeing exhibited during this COVID pandemic. But seriously, what does Julian Knight expect? Knight was upset with prison authorities because they confiscated what he believed was his privileged stash. So what did he do? He decided to starve himself. Now, as a person, I have absolutely no regard for Knight. He's been consigned to life in prison. Yet somehow the Victorian government sees fit to have him in St Vincent's Hospital on a drip, being intravenously fed with Victorian taxpayer dollars. Why are we keeping Knight alive? Why are we allowing our tax dollars to be wasted on a man who killed 7 innocent Victorians in cold blood 33 years ago? Now, there will be some of you who may protest my questioning of the Victorian government over why it tolerates his behaviour. But every time he tries to hold the government to ransom, there are millions of hard-working, honest Victorians subsidising his life, whether they like it or not. Now, Knight's condition is believed to be serious, but just as it was Knight's decision to go on a hunger strike and starve himself, it's his choice if he wants to die. It shouldn't be honest Victorian tax dollars being drip-fed into his veins that actually keep him alive in hospital when our health system is already under enormous stress because of the demands being put on it by this pandemic. Now, I'm sure, again, there will be some of you who criticise me for my commentary, but the truth is, if those people are really keen to keep Knight alive, then they should donate the money themselves to pay for his hospital care.